Hey all you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I toy review. And I'm trying something a little bit different today, going with a little bit different setup. I get bored of just the standard figure in front of the camera type review, so I'm experimenting a little bit here. So we'll see how it goes, but definitely leave your feedback. Let me know what you think of this style, if you like it better or whatnot. But for today, I am reviewing the new Marvel Legends 3-pack featuring the Nimrod, the Psylocke, and the Fantomex figures. This is the Amazon exclusive, which is shipping now. It comes in that X-Men style packaging that we've been seeing, celebrating the anniversary of the X-Men. So you got Nimrod in the front, Psylocke, and Fantomex. You've got the X-Men logo, the names of the characters. Gray box packaging. All the X-Men figures, or at least like the multi-packs and stuff, are coming in this type of packaging. You've got the artwork on the sides featuring Fantomex and Psylocke, and then on the back you've got artwork for all three. Now it's kind of weird because like the Fantomex artwork almost looks like it's a real person, same with the Psylocke, and then the Nimrod looks just like it's comic book art. But let's get this open and take a look at the figures inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figures outside of the packaging. And, you know, I got this set primarily for Nimrod. In fact, I got this set for Nimrod. I did not get this set for the Psylocke figure or the Fantomex figure. This is actually my first Fantomex. I did not get the previous one that Hasbro had done. And then Psylocke is just kind of a repaint of the Jim Lee style one, and this isn't really a look I'm terribly familiar with more of the pants looks. So, you know, again, what I really got this set for was Nimrod, which I think is why most people got this set, which is probably why Hasbro stuck these two additional figures in with it, so that we had to buy it to get Nimrod. Now, with the Fantomex, Fantomex is not a character I am terribly familiar with. But, you know, I wouldn't mind the figure, but I gotta say I'm pretty disappointed with this one. It uses the Bucky cap mold, which is not a problem for me. I don't have a big deal for that. But the problem I do have with this figure, I have two problems. So first of all, I hate these. So let's set these aside. I'm not gonna really focus a whole lot on these guys, since I think, you know, like I said, I think most of us got it for Nimrod, but I do want to point out here, so first of all, I hate these little strap things that Hasbro always does on these figures. I don't know why they don't, like, glue these so that they don't fall down, because they always do. You know, they started doing this with, I think it was the Jim Lee style Cyclops. But my big problem with this figure is that the joints on the figure are very rubbery. In fact, I'm willing to bet that over a short period of time, the legs will start to bulge out or in, you know, it depends, but under the weight of the figure. So it'll end up not being able to stand worth a crap. You know, it's just so rubbery. It's ridiculous. And I've been experiencing this more and more with recent Marvel Legend figures. You know, I don't know if Hasbro's turned to using cheaper plastic to keep costs down or what it is, but I'm not impressed with this, the quality of this figure. The arms are pretty rubbery as well, but it doesn't bother me quite as much on the arms. But, you know, with the legs, you know, I just hate it. The rest of the figure, it's just a, you know, Bucky cap mold. You've got the gun belt with the working holsters. You've got the X symbol. You know, he's got this coat. The sleeves are not part of that. They're sculpted, but the coat itself is a removable piece. And you do get, with this one, you get the pistols. I don't think I've seen these pistols before in the Marvel Legend line. I could be wrong. If I am, you know, let me know in the comment section, but I don't recognize them. There's no paint detail on them. They're just gray plastic. I do like that they included the little effect pieces that you can attach to the front of the barrel, so you can make it look like he's shooting. So I do like that. I don't think this the same guns that they included with the original Fantomex figure they did. I could be wrong, but, you know, definitely the original one, they didn't used to do the blast effect, so I don't know. But you can stick the gun in there in the holster, so, and it does fit it in there pretty tight, so you don't have to worry about that falling out. But again, with this one, rubbery plastic, I don't know if that's the case with all the figures, but with mine, it definitely is, so definitely not happy with that. Now with the Psylocke figure, funny enough, actually has sturdier joints, even though, you know, female joints are generally, you know, thinner and everything, but it actually has sturdier joints, a little rubbery, but not nearly as bad as the Fantomex figure. So this again seems to be the exact same figure as we got before. Just, you know, they painted, it's, you know, she's wearing black and then they painted the legs differently. I assume this is an outfit that she wears, you know, maybe a more modern outfit. I don't know, I don't recognize it, but I'm going to assume that. But again, the figure itself is just the same as what we got with the Jim Lee style one. I do like the face sculpt. It's the same sculpt, but I like the paint applications. I like the purple. I like how they've done the purple more. I think there was a variant, if I remember correctly, there was a variant that came out with purple hair. Mine has the black, so I probably will end up switching out the hair, or, you know, switching this head sculpt with the Jim Lee style one, because I do like this head sculpt a little bit better. It's the same figure. You get the same accessories. She's got the sword. She's got the little psychic fist piece. She's got the little psychic mask. Now they are darker purple, which I actually kind of like as well. So I'll probably end up using these accessories with the Jim Lee style one. But, you know, with the Jim Lee one, they were much more pink. So I do like the darker purple, more purple color with the accessories that they included with this one. But they are the same accessories. You also get an extra hand, you get a closed fist, and then you get the open hand for holding the sword that's attached to the figure. So I'm not going to go over articulation on those two because, you know, if you don't know what the articulation is on the Bucky Cap mold, then you probably never collected Marvel Legends. And then, like I said, this is the same figure, so not going to really worry about that. This is why I bought the set. This is why probably most of you bought the set. Nimrod, you know, Advanced Hunter Sentinel. Those of us who backed the HasLab Sentinel, we're going to be, you know, pairing this one up with that probably when it arrives next year. Very cool character in the comics. One of the first bad guys I remember reading back when I was reading, you know, X-Men comics in the late 80s and 90s. But, you know, basically very hard to destroy. Now, he's not a typical Sentinel. He's more human size, of course. So I think the size of the figure, you know, the bulk of it, I think does a good job of capturing that likeness. Now this piece is removable. It's an accessory. I don't know what it is. I don't recall him having this. I guess they're supposed to be wings. You know, this figure is actually supposed to be based more on his more modern, you know, House of X storyline, which I have not read, so... You know, I'm assuming that's something that he had. I don't really like it. I mean, it's translucent plastic and everything, but looks like a big bug or something. I don't know. It just plugs in the back there, but I don't think I'll be using it with my figure too much. What you also get, though, is you get a pair of closed-fisted hands. If you want him to do some punching, you might use those. And then you get an alternate head. So I like this alternate head that they did better. Get it in close here. Give you a look. Got the red and everything, more of a classic look, I think. And you got the back of the heads are exactly the same. It's mostly, you know, just different painting. Yeah, I would say mostly it's just, well, they're a little bit sculpted differently on the front there. Like I said, this one I think is supposed to be more in keeping with this classic look. As far as changing out the head, so the head, you get no movement on this one. He really can't turn his head or anything, so you get no movement on the head with the way it's sculpted. But what you want to do is you got to kind of pry your fingers in there and get it out, pop it off, and then you just pop on the alternate head. But this is definitely the one I'm going to be using with the figure because I just like it better. I like this look better, like that. And then the other accessory that you get is these blast effects. I don't recall seeing these before, so these, you know, they're kind of like Iron Man's repulsor blast effects. They're done with a translucent, they're bigger, but that's kind of what they're in keeping. Salome, everybody, you might recall from my news videos, she's joined us here. She's here to steal accessories because she's a kleptomaniac. But anyway, so variation of like the repulsor blast effect, done with a pinkish translucent plastic similar to like Psylocke. You've got these little fringe pieces which are actually attached. They're separate, but they've attached it. They're not meant to be removed. You could get them off if you really wanted to, but I don't know why you would. You know, you can kind of push them up and down a little bit, but they're not meant to be taken off, and they're not going to just fall off the piece, which is why I assume they attached it, which is nice. And then, you know, you got to use them with the open hands. You've got the holes in the open hands, and you just plug it in, you know, again, similar to what you would see with like Iron Man and stuff. So let's get him more in a blasting effect. So, there you go. So now you can blast X-Men. Bam! There you go. So, I like that. I think they did a pretty good job with that. So probably the head sculpt, the alternate head sculpt, and those blast effects. This thing, not too much of a fan of. So for the figure itself, paint applications are very basic. He is done in a white color, which I guess again is more in keeping with the Power of X storyline, because I recall him being more of a pinkish type color. But again, you know, things change. He's got pink on the back there, and he's got pink throughout with the line work. Kind of has a Tron look going with for him. I do like this translucent plastic that they've used on this piece here on his chest. I think that looks pretty good. Now for articulation. Articulation is somewhat limited on this guy, which, you know, is kind of in keeping with the character. I wouldn't consider Nimrod a super articulated character. You know, he can get into a few good moves, but definitely is a little bit limited. So as I mentioned, the head does not really move at all. And then with the arms, you get these shoulder pads, which are soft plastic. They do lift up a little bit, so you can still get the arm out pretty good there. And then they actually move with the arm, so they don't limit the rotation of the arm, which is nice. Now, one thing I do want to note here, and it's not a big deal because it's more on the underside, and I don't know how you see it, but there are some paint blemishes on the white on the underside there. Again, not really a big deal, but just wanted to point that out. But that's with the shoulder movement. So again, you can get the arms out about that much there, and then he can rotate. He does have a bicep swivel. He only has a single hinged elbow, so he can only bend his elbow about that much. And then he does not have a rotation at the elbow because he's got the bicep swivel. You get the rotation with the hands, and then you get the hinges, so he can do his hand down about that much. And then he can do them up enough so he can look like, you know, he's firing his blast rays out of his hand. You do not have an ab crunch, you get just a rotation. So if he wants to turn his head, he's got to turn at the midsection there. That's really your movement, and he can only look down about that much. So he doesn't have a whole lot of down movement. He really doesn't get a whole lot of pivot to the left and the right. He really can't look back very much. You know, even though he has that midsection joint, he doesn't get a whole lot of movement other than just rotation. And then with the legs, he can only do the splits about that much unless you turn it. Then you can get it a little bit more, but the way the legs are sculpted with the plastic, they come up over the joint, so that limits some of the movement there. He does have a high thigh swivel, so you get the rotation there. He can get his leg forward about that much, and then can only do the leg back about that much. So again, kind of limited a little bit there. You also you do get a double hinged knee, so he does have good bending at the knee, and you can get the knee back. I mean, you can get the leg back like that, so he does have some good bending there. He does not have any kind of boot cuff swivel or anything. And then with the feet, again, very limited. The plastic comes down over the feet, so you got a little bit of pivot in there, but really no up or down movement, and obviously no rotation. So again, very limited movement. And then no peg holes on the bottom of the feet. You do have some sculpting detail, and you don't really need peg holes with this one. I mean, he stands fine. Keeping him standing is not going to be an issue. Okay, so Nimrod here stands about 8 inches tall. And he is taller than a normal size figure, as he should be. So, you know, he's not sentinel tall. Nimrod's not supposed to be sentinel tall, but he is taller than your average human. Probably, you know, Hulk size, that type of deal. And then we've got some sentinels here. Oh, lost a leg. This is the Toy Biz one. And then have the Hasbro one, the Marvel Universe / Hasbro Sentinel. Which, of course, the Sentinels aren't really in scale with Nimrod, but I do think, you know, Nimrod is a good scale. So, and of course, we do have the HasLab Sentinel coming. I got one HasLab Sentinel. My plan is, you know, these are going to be my normal Sentinels, my Sentinel army with Nimrod, and then the HasLab Sentinel will be my master mold, who should be bigger than the regular Sentinels. Would have loved to got like an army build, the HasLab Sentinels, but I wanted 5, but my wallet said 1, so that's what we went with. Okay, so that's my review. Now, whether I think this set's worth buying or not, I guess it really depends on how much of a Nimrod fan you are. For me personally, knowing what I know now, I would still reluctantly buy this set. I don't think you're really getting your money's worth with it. This figure, this Fantomex figure, is crap because of the crappy plastic. You know, I wouldn't have probably bought this figure anyway, just because Fantomex is not a character I'm terribly excited for. But I wouldn't have minded so much if, you know, having to buy a figure that I wouldn't otherwise normally buy. but if you're going to make me buy a figure like that, at least have the decency to use sturdy plastic. You know, don't use this cheap plastic crap that, you know, where the figure can't even hold its own weight because the knees are so rubbery. So, you know, that figure is just annoys me. The Psylocke figure, you know, I prefer the Jim Lee style one overall, though I do like this head sculpt, so I probably will end up using this head sculpt, so at least I got a head sculpt. I don't really like this outfit that much, but, you know, if this is an outfit that you like, or you're just a huge Psylocke fan, I don't really have any problems with that one. The Nimrod figure, it's not perfect. I would have much rather had a more classic look for the character, but I guess, you know, with the upcoming X-Men wave that's supposed to have, you know, figures from the House of X storyline that's kind of in keeping with this look, then I guess I kind of understand it. So, you know, very clean. Probably my biggest complaint, though, is a little more articulation. Would have been nice, though, you know, based on the design of the figure, I do kind of understand why it's limited. So, I don't know what this is. I don't really care about that. I do like the blast effect pieces. I like this alternate head. So, this is definitely the head I'm going to be displaying. And I do think it'll look good with my Sentinels. So, especially when the HasLab Sentinel arrives, you know, next year, I think this will look good with that. So, that's it. That's my thoughts on this. I'd love to hear yours in the comments section below. Also, what do you think of the new format? Do you like it? You know, again, let me know in the comments section below. Like the video, of course, and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. I might, you know, if you guys like this format, I might try and do some more. I kind of feel like it's more interesting than just having the figure in front of the camera, so we'll see how it goes. But like I said, let me hear your feedback in the comments below, and we'll go from there. Stay safe out there, guys, and until next time, I'll catch you later. I don't know. Was that good? Did you like it? I think we did a good job. Yeah.
And
All right.
thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News Message Boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.